Jai Jain, everyone. Good morning, good evening to everybody who's joining us today. Uh, Welcome to our JPF small group mentoring session. I'm Amol Jain, joining you from Pune. Today, I take over from Sanyog ji and Shushma ji, who've been doing this for a very long time and doing it with such grace, energy, and enthusiasm over the years. I hope I can only carry the spirit and take it forward the same level of engagement as they've been doing it. Uh, Before we get started, here is a quick preview of how the session is going to be. We begin by welcoming our mentors, a little bit of introduction about them. We then get into our main mentoring dialogue. As we get past our midway mark, I'll invite Sanyog ji to just share a few words about our program. The end, we'll have open mic for live questions. Now, true to our tradition, we begin all good things with Mangalacharan, and I invite all of you to recite Namokar mantra together with me. Sayog ji, if you could just play the Namokar mantra, please.
Yes. Here we go. Over to you, Amol.
Thank you, Sanyog ji. Namokar mantra is more than a prayer for us. For us, it is a source of energy, inspiration, and also humility. It is a grounding reminder of our values as we begin the session of the shared learning that we are going to have today. Now, for those who are joining us for the first time, this session is part of our JPF Mentoring 2.0 initiative, which builds up upon the Level Up series. But unlike Level Up series, which is a format which is more uh, moderator and mentor and the speaker driven, this is more driven by you and your questions. It is designed in a way that you get to ask as many questions as possible, drive the conversation, and asking questions that matter to you. Now, personally, I am a bit of an introvert, and I have found these small group conversation incredibly enriching. And it is a space where I feel comfortable asking questions. So here's your invitation to go ahead, drop your questions anytime in the chat. Me and my co-moderators here, Sanyog ji, Sushma ji, will bring them out at the right moment so that either we'll try to weave them into the conversation or table them towards the end. Uh, One other request, we'd love to have you on the camera as well. Uh, During the session and especially during the open mic, it just makes this whole conversation very human. Uh, and don't worry, if you're not perfectly set up or perfectly dressed, uh, I'm speaking from the best available corner at my home at this time of at this hour at my place. Uh, Now, okay, and I'll also request everybody who's not speaking to be on mute. All right. Now, before we go ahead, uh, you know, just to help everybody understand, or especially for our mentors to understand the audience better and help them shape the conversation, we'd love to know a little bit about you. So let's take 30 seconds we'll launch a quick poll and we'll request you to answer those questions. We have about 4 questions out there, and then it should take about 10 seconds for you to answer those questions. So, Sanyog ji, if you could just launch those questions, please.
You can see the poll, Amol.
Okay. Yes, the poll is now live. I can see people have started participating. I request everybody to hit the poll or quizzes option if you're not seeing the quiz already. Uh, Please hit that option and answer the question. It will really help us shape the conversation today. We just have one
Someone
person.
close the form. Can you reshoot it?
Okay,
Can I?
let's do it. Okay. All right. I think there was a small glitch with the poll. We have relaunched the poll again. Uh, I'll request everybody to go and try answering the question on the poll quiz.
Is it
Please
showing?
give it another shot.
Is it showing correctly on the screen, Amol?
Yes,
What's
yes,
this money?
it's there.
Yes, it is. It's fine.
– 60% there. Just last 10 seconds before we.
If everyone can participate, it'll be really nice. It'll make our conversation very relevant to the group. Thank you. 75% of you have already answered, almost 80%. Yeah.
Okay, last 5 seconds before we close the poll. And I think we will close the poll now.
Okay, I'm ending the poll and sharing the results.
Okay, almost half of our audiences today are joining us for the first time. So welcome everybody who has joined us for the first time. Thank you for sharing your Sunday afternoon with us. Very interesting insights on the career. And we were talking about this with the mentors yesterday. Audiences that we have. So we have about 38% mid-career, 38% senior and executive level audience. We have about 8% who are early in their career, and we also have 15% who are students. And then when it comes to the question on what do we find, which relationship we find most challenging to manage, again, manager and team. Some people who say peers and insights with their clients. Then most of them voting for the learning that they're looking for from this session is around how do you influence without authority, and we're going to touch upon that today. Now, with that, I think we'll get into our session.
I'm stopping sharing.
To begin with, I would just like to.
Okay. The screen is clear of the poll, Amol?
Yep. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, the screen is clear. Okay. Okay. Before we begin, a short introduction about our mentors. Let me introduce our first mentor, Mr. Rahul Jain. Rahul ji is joining us from London. He leads the BFSI Customer Success Group for UK and Ireland at Google Cloud. He's been in the digital space for about 23 years. He was one of the early uh, people to enter the cloud space when he was working at Infosys, and this was long before cloud became even mainstream. And today, he is at the heart of AI revolution at Google, working for Google Cloud. Outside work, Raulji is also a passionate cyclist and a globe trekker, always chasing adventures and learning. The areas that he prefers mentoring in are around AI, cloud, strategic leadership, transformation, and future tech. Joining us from Pune, our fellow mentor today, and other second very featured mentor is Mr. Rajeev Jain. Rajiv ji is a senior director at Fiserv. He has over 19 years of experience in digital payments, enterprise platforms, and fintech. Uh, he comes from a background where he has built high performance teams, he has led major transformation programs, and his mantra at work is he believes in the power of execution and empowering the teams. Rajiv ji is also a fitness enthusiast and something that I personally need. And when I meet him, I'm gonna definitely talk about that. Rajiv ji mentors in the areas of obviously products, uh, areas of finance, but he also is a pro in the areas of executive leadership, innovation, digital product delivery, and team dynamics. Now, before we dive into our main conversation, just a quick reminder, a small disclaimer that both our mentors here are both the mentors here are here in their personal capacity. They're volunteering their time this afternoon, and while they might share examples from their work, please note all their views are personal of their own and do not represent the views of their organization. With that, let's dive into the heart of our dialogue today, which getting along precedes getting ahead. Uh, and as we were discussing this whole conversation, I think we understood the genesis of this conversation is around emotional intelligence. And that's where the quote came to our mind was, emotional intelligence is not so much about being soft at workplace, it is about being smart with the people. And as we navigate relationships at work, it isn't just our soft skills that matter. Soft skill, while it is core of our leadership skill, and it is very important that we give enough importance to emotional intelligence as well. We are fortunate today to have mentors who have led across verticals, across geographies, across cultures, across business challenges, to have them here share their thoughts with us. Uh, to keep in mind, this session is not like a keynote session. It is going to be a conversation. It is about uncovering relationship strategies that have helped the mentors navigate real challenges. So, as we invite Rahul ji and Rajiv ji for this conversation, I I request everybody to keep posting their questions. We will be watching the chat, so keep those questions coming. With that, we dive into the main conversation today. We are going to be exploring, how do we manage relationships both along with our peers, our managers, and our teams. And with that, I want to just set out an icebreaker and begin with our first question. I'm going to be posting this to Rahulji. Rahulji, you have worked across continents. You've worked across multiple technologies from cloud to AI today. When we talk about getting along precedes getting ahead, what does that mean to you personally, and how has it shaped your leadership style?
So thanks firstly for this opportunity. I would underscore this is a conversation. Uh, So please do ask your questions. Please do share any insights you have as well. Yeah. So around the topic, the first thing that came to mind was a quote from a former US President, Theodore Roosevelt, where he said, "The most important single ingredient in the formula of success is knowing how to get along with people." Big words from a big man in history. And to unwrap it a little bit more, the philosophy on getting along with people is not about being universally liked or about avoiding conflict at all costs. Rather, it's about having a pragmatic recognition that if you're going to succeed in any endeavor, uh, it will be fundamentally tied to your ability to build rapport, connection, to inspire trust, and work effectively with others. Yeah. We are always a part of a team in most corporate endeavors that we undertake, and thereby the key narrative here is really something we should really look upon and hold close to our hearts if you're going to make any meaningful progress uh, in any kind of endeavor we have at work. Yeah. Back to you, Amol. You're on mute, Amol.
Okay, interesting. So Rajiv ji, I looked at your profile as well, and you have led multiple transformations in a complex environment like fintech. Uh, how has this theme resonated with you in your career, uh, and especially going by your mantra, right? You believe in execution and empathy. What does this mean to you, really?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much, Molji, and everyone for giving this opportunity. I'm very, very grateful for that. Now, coming to how overall, as I'll build upon what Rahulji mentioned, that to make any meaningful progress, it's true that you need to understand how you work with other people. Now, I look at it from two parts. When I saw this heading of the session, getting along precedes getting ahead. So it comes with two things. So there are two things. One is your core skill, right? Your core skill will get you in the door, right? It will allow you to get into any job, right? Basis on your core skill you bring on the table. But how far you go depends upon the second part, right? How good you are with people, how you build a relationship, how you work with teams. Now, don't get me wrong here, right? Its core skill is very, very important. You cannot. So, how I typically explain this is to my teams that your core skill is like the cake, the foundation, right? And your relationship is like icing on the cake, right? So if there is no cake, where you would ice on, and if it's only the cake, it's plain. But so the magic is in the combination. You need to bring up both the cake and the icing. That is what is will take you far. That's how I look at it, Amolji. Back to you.
Great example, and I think if I'm not wrong, we also have a baker person as part of our audience, so I'm sure that person can relate to it. Now, as we move on, right, and I want us to rewind back to our early days. We often think that early success comes from skill, but often it is person or the relationship that changes everything, right? And Raulji, if I may come to you and ask you to share a moment where you not because of your resume, but it did you, or maybe someone who trusted your character before your competence. Can you share those instances with us?
Yeah. So throughout my career, I think there have been at least 3 to 4 notable instances where somebody real senior saved my hide per se, or stepped in for me big time. Yeah, because we live in in the corporate culture, often dealing with complex situations, complex environments, and relationship equity matters. Yeah, I like to call it like you need to know your boss's boss. Yeah, very simply put. But at the same time, understand that it can be tricky. It is a double-edged sword. And like Rajeev ji highlighted, right, the cornerstone of anything you do is going to be your ability and expertise, but that relationship equity kind of helps you navigate certain tricky situations, right? So like I was handling a complex program. There were lots of escalations around it. The program was in a lot of trouble before I got in there. And it takes a while for the problems to subside. There's no instant magic to get over things. So there was a whole host of escalations from the customers saying, hey, things are not getting better. And should we make a change in the leadership, right? And that's when the head of where I used to work stepped in and said, no, I have faith, I have confidence that Rahul will be able to turn this around. And he afforded me more time. Now, the point was I had little expertise in the program area. It was related to security or something, which I'd never worked on before. But the leader went out on a whim and supported me at that stage. And yes, with that backing, I was able to turn it around, fortunately, with the help of the team. But there are several instances where this has happened. But I would like to understate, we cannot overstate enough that while relationship equity matters, the cornerstone is always ability and expertise and hard work. Yeah. So that's what I would say about that.
What Rajeev, when we planning across, you started working at a steel company at Ispat. You went to work with Canway and now with Fiserv, right? Looking back at your early career, even before you had titles or authority, was there a time where relationship changed the game for you, or perhaps a situation where trust mattered more than your expertise, like Rahul ji described?
Definitely, I have, and I don't know, Amolji, a little bit it broke in between the question, so I will just again paraphrase what you mentioned. You mentioned that early in my career, did any instance happen where trust got me more, a project or something more than my skill?
Business topic ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ.
I'll request anybody who's not speaking to be on mute, please. But Rajeev,
Was that the question?
the question was that, and you can give an example, more contemporary or more recent example as well, because this isn't something that happens to you early in your career. I think even more recently, if you have an example where you would have been put in a position.
Got it. So I will tell you, with my background, I have been with this organization where I'm working right now for 18 years. But and it's a task in itself to stay in an organization for 18 years. But every 2-3 years, I have either changed projects, or I have changed business units, or I have changed locations. So I keep on changing it. Now, so in one such scenario, I think when I was like, it's around 10 years back, I wanted to move to, there was an internal job posting, and I wanted to move to a new technology. I had a background in a certain technology, and now I wanted to move in a different technology. And so there were multiple candidates for that. Now, what happened? So there were multiple candidates. I did not have, I have done all the studies. I got all the knowledge, acquired everything. But I did not have hands-on skills on that technology where I wanted to move. And that's where when the person who was leading that unit, I had worked for him earlier. He knew. So when I was working with him, I built some trust, credibility with him. He knew that if I'm committing to it, I will do it. So that is something very, very significant. That change, I got that role, I moved technology, and that change completely changed the trajectory of my career. Because I moved from a very different technology. I don't know if some of, I'm sure Rahul ji would have heard of. I used to work on mainframe technology earlier, moved to open systems, moved to .NET, Java, and everything. So it was a complete shift for my career. And to give this opportunity to someone who does not have that experience speaks a lot about the person who was ready to help me. But also, this is a very significant thing which I remember in my career, where because he had trust, he knew that he will put in his all. That is where I can give an example where it helped me really.
Interesting. And Rajiv ji, when you and I were having a conversation over the weekend as a run up to this small group mentoring session, I think the term that you used was relational purposes of the conversation, right? So that our audience can connect to it better. Can you define what relationship is? Which is
Okay, I don't know if it's only breaking for me or breaking for everyone, but it's
Yeah, so there is a break, Rajiv. There is a break.
okay. Okay,
Amol, I think just check your connectivities, please.
but
Your voice is breaking periodically.
The question was about relational acuity.
okay, got it, got it, got it. Okay, so if you see relational equity is something, it's a combination of what I think of it as. It's a combination of trust and credibility. Right? You build trust and credibility, and that increases your relational equity. Let me give you an example. Think of it as a bank account. Relational equity as a bank account. So every interaction you have with your peers, with people, with your boss, either you make a deposit to the account or you make a withdrawal to the account. Now, when you take action, something like as you do what you said you will do without people being needing to follow up with you, that is you keep your commitment, that is where you make a deposit, your relationship equity goes higher, your people will trust, your credibility is being built, right? That's how it is. And on the other hand, although unintentionally, if you are missing on your deadlines, if you are not when you are not helping people where you can, those are kind of behaviors which will kind of make a withdrawal from your bank account of relational equity. So in all, if you see, you do what you say you will do, you will invest in people as people, not only when you need something. These are things when you build your trust and credibility, which eventually builds up your relational equity. That's how I look at it, Amoji. Hope I explained.
great example from a bank account perspective, but I'll relate it back to you from a credit card perspective. If you don't pay it back in time, you pay a heavy penalty for it.
Absolutely fantastic, Amoji. Great ad. Yeah.
Okay. Rahulji, uh, I think you gave an example early in this conversation, but I also looked at your resume. You have led multi-geography teams, and about 3 years ago, you stepped into a new environment. And even, and I would say just even generally, right, even in your previous roles, whenever you've been introduced as a change agent, how do you build trust quickly, especially when you're entering as an outsider? An outsider, even within an organization on a new project, a new person is an outsider. And especially if you take a more current example on when you're championing a cause like as disruptive as AI or back then cloud, uh, how did relational equity make a difference in your
Yeah. So it is always hard, right? Like it doesn't, like you said, doesn't always have to be us going into a new organization. Within the organization, like Rajeev said, we change projects, we change teams. I like to call it, you have to find a seat on the table. And that can be quite challenging if you're coming into something which is pre-set up. But what helps in any role that you walk into a room where you have to find a seat on the table is to be humble. Understand that there are very smart people in the room. Many of them know a lot more about certain topics than you do. You do bring a certain expertise into the room, but you have to be respectful. You have to ease yourself into the situation. Yeah. Being humble, being a very good listener helps you understand what's going on and helps you shoot for the gaps, right? You have been brought into that team with whatever objective because there is a particular situation that needs remediated that your expertise will help with, right? To shoot for those gaps and be able to contribute towards it, like I said, being receptive to what's going on really helps. Having a wide tool set, like Rajeev Ji mentioned, he started in mainframes, he shifted technologies, right? Always being able to pick up new things or learn new things or different things kind of builds a wide tool set in your for yourself, and that comes in handy when you're trying to remediate situations which may be a little bit out of your usual comfort zone. That would be of value to that room that you are in, right? Other thing that helps is before you start to champion anything, if you can join somebody, right? If you augment somebody who is leading certain things, it kind of, in a very logical manner, kind of builds a relationship with those individuals, right? Like you're saying, hey, you're doing this. Can I contribute to it? Can I play a part in that, right? So if you look at it from a perspective of finding a seat on the table, even if you are supposed to lead the whole thing, right? You have to find a seat on the table. That mindset really helps to build equity as a team member or as a leader within that room that you are now part of. Back to you, Amolji.
So we move from relationships to credibility to competence now with what Rahul just described. And I want to pick up on something, Rajiv ji, you said early on, right? I think you spoke a little bit about your promotion and looking at the fintech industry, the industry that you're, the finance, the whole BFSI industry, which coincidentally both of you are part of. It is intensely competitive, right? And one other thing that I noticed, which is common in both the mentors, is both of you had long tenures within an organization, and you've all grown through the ranks. I know you touched upon the relationship angle, but just building upon what Rahul ji just said, what were the things that help you get that seat? And I would say not just the promotion, but there would have been opportunities where you would be tasked to take on a strategic initiative. What were the things beyond the performance metric or relationship that helped you?
So I will pick from where Rahul ji mentioned that when you go to a new team, for that matter, if you're going to a cross-functional team where you are going new, Rahul ji touched a very important point that you need to be humble. And I'll give you a very specific example how humble it could be. You could be higher in designation in the organization, right? But when you go to the team, there would be someone very junior to you. But what we need to understand is he knows that project much more than you do. So the first thing which I do is you should be open to learn from everyone who knows more than you, right? be it senior, be it junior. And that has happened with me multiple times. As I mentioned, that I have changed projects every 3 years. Whichever project I go to, I may be senior, but it helps a lot if you are ready to learn from everyone. So that's one thing which has helped me in such situations. Other than that, a specific example, I think 5 years back, the organization I'm working in had a very big merger, right? Different leadership came in and had a big merger. And because certain leaders were there who knew me from this side of the house, so I was somehow landed in a role in the merger where I had to champion an innovation program across the two organizations. Now that was super fun. One side, there is new leaders, and the other side, someone, but then everyone is trying to get a feat, right? How it is. So that in that situation, it became very interesting, where things which helped me was I knew that I had a way of connecting with the people because I have moved in different roles, and I was always ready to learn. And since I had good relations or people know me from one side of the house, that did help me in getting the role. And thereon, it's all your skill. So the point I was trying to make, a long-winded answer, Amolji, is you can get in with your relational equity. People would know you, people will back you. But from there on, you have to again prove yourself and do it that way.
Perfect. And I think not many people know that M&As are very, very disruptive,
Right.
especially when you are in a leadership position. But even as a company, it takes a lot for you to settle things down, and that's a challenge by itself. But I think the common theme emerging is being humble. That's number one, and I think learnability is another aspect which is coming up again, very, very important. Uh, I now want to touch upon a topic, and I think it is also one of the questions that I saw within the chat window. But before I touch upon that, uh, I want to briefly bring in Rahulji and ask a question. Uh, in tech organizations or tech services organizations like Google and Infosys, they are famously matrixed or matrix organizations, as they call, right? Where you have to align across stakeholders, across functions, regions, departments, right? And very often, uh, you might have no direct authority over the people that you're working with. Can you share a story or can you share your insights in situations where you had to lead without having authority? How did you manage that?
So thanks for the question, Amolji. I think it may correlate with one of the questions we see on the chat as well. So see, as in different types of roles, including many leadership roles, this is a challenge, right? While I was with Infosys, I was leading massive programs in my role as a program director, where I would be brought in mostly to salvage a particular program that had not been going well. We'll have teams from very different organizations that are part of my company. We'll have very different reporting hierarchies, and I'm now supposed to ensure the entire program, which constitutes these individual teams, which are fairly large, maybe sometimes even 50 or 100 people, with no reporting into me. And how do we kind of ensure the customer gets the desired thing they had signed up for, right? So now there are many aspects to this, and it is very tricky, right? But the theme to kind of lead without influence is to find common ground, right? What is that common problem, enemy that all of you can get behind, right? If you can find that, That's great. Maybe find common ground between two teams who have to perhaps be brought closer together, and or two individuals, right? Listening is a very, very important aspect, because a lot is said between lines. Yeah, so it's very important not only to listen carefully and intently, also observe the people, emotions and dynamics and mannerisms, to understand what's really going on. Yeah, a good example is that there's this large program I was brought in. On one end was a Salesforce team, at the other end was a data team, and they were constantly at loggerheads, saying the requirements keep changing, and the customer program was anyway suffering because we were massively behind in the timelines, right? So what helped was me talking to these teams individually, and what I realized was there was a gap in terms of understanding each other, understanding what the overall objective is. So I arranged a session wherein we brought in a person from the customer to speak through what is the business outcome they're trying to look at, and so on and so forth, right? The customer drilled that down for the whole team, which I had brought together in a session. After the customer left, we had our analysts come and talk about what it meant in simple English. What is it that we were trying to do in this complex program? Once you started to peel it layer by layer, people kind of understood what we are doing and what the other person's or other team's challenges, right? And thereby started to correlate any tricky situations they were involved in, not as a fault of the other person or the team, but the dynamic that they have to take into account, right? So my role in this conversation was not to direct anybody. My role was to just bring together these individuals, lay the ideas in front of them, and there are very smart people in the room always, like I say. They got it, that the challenge is not people, not the team, it is the situation you are in, and it requires an element of dynamicness on your part, element of being able to absorb the change, as harsh as it may be because of the lack of time, right? And move forward. So that's one example I can give where I was able to influence without having direct authority over the two teams, an outcome for our customer.
Interesting. I think finding common grounds is a very important learning, and I think there was an unsaid thing about how vested interest, which is often gets termed as politics. It's not always politics. It is just vested interest that plays out, and I think you found a very good way of decimating it and finding people to work towards a common goal. Uh, Rajiv ji, I think I touched upon this earlier, and I think your diverse background from steel to service, technology services to fintech, uh, I'm sure you would have been in these situations where you would have to push through an idea or an initiative where you had to influence outcomes without having any direct authority over the people that you would be working with.
Absolutely, Amolji. In our situation, this becomes very common.
Every day.
So every day, kind of. But it's over the years. So there are two things which I look at. More or less, it's a long-term thing also. If you are working on your relational equity, तो दोस्ती यारी में काम होता है. At least it gets you started, right? You have a way to start, breakthrough. But the key thing is, as Rahulji said, right, common ground. What I tell is that what's in it for them, right? What's actually, how can you, the way Rahulji was saying, common ground, if you can somehow align their win in your goal, that is where it will make it successful. So basically, the key here is not pressure, that I can pressure you. The key here is alignment. Now let me give you an example, a very recent example. So the products I managed recently, we got a compliance mandate, right? Compliance mandate to add an additional layer of security, right? Some secure for people to understand, just a security layer on our product. Now that my teams cannot do it alone, because any security layer in our company needs to be approved by the cyber team, which is the security owner team, kind of whatever security I'm putting in. Now compliance mandate has come to me, that's my priority. They don't care about the timeline. They say that I have a mandate of say 30 days. They say we'll only get to it in next 45 days, right? Now I cannot go back to the compliance team and say that I cannot do anything cyber team is not doing. So that's where I sat with the cyber team. I said, what is your problem? Is bandwidth your problem? People not reaching? Then we figured out in multiple discussions that it takes a lot of time for them to test. I said, no problem. We will also do this test. So we are creating an automated suite to test it, right? We will hand that over to you. That will solve your long-term problem of doing manual testing, and then you can use it. So what I was trying to do is I was trying to see that what I can offer them, right? So these are kind of example which happens where you can influence without authority if you find a common ground. And I will be very honest. Sometimes you're not able to. It becomes, and that time you will have to see how important this is, and do I really need to get into an escalation mode? Do I really need to bring in people who can influence? That also happens. But this is how I look for it. What's in it for them? Can we align with some of their wins in our goal?
Perfect. Thank you, Rajeev ji. Now I see a question in the chat window, and for that I want to quickly switch to a topic which is top of the org chart, which is managing upwards, which can be tricky, often a very delicate dance. And I'm sure both of you have been on this situation on a regular basis. How do you, and maybe the question to Rahul ji is, how have you handled those questions on an ongoing basis? And I think just, catching up on the question also, wherein very often you might disagree with the global directive or the senior leadership. How do you still carry the objective without impacting the relationship?
Yeah. So, well, if you're an expert in something, you will have an opinion, and that opinion may be different from others, right? But until it's embraced, it's not right. It's not accepted. It won't get implemented, right? So there is at different stages, different things apply. But very early in my career, I'll take an example. Is I was sent over to the US for a particular project. My expertise was technology, writing code, designing applications. Yeah. So I land into this team. I'm about a month or two into this team. Yeah. Which is largely the customer and their employees who are doing it. I am, and perhaps the only person who is not an employee of that customer who's part of that program, right? So having been there a month or two, I have now looked at the code, I have looked at the design, I have seen certain challenges in their design, right? So it's very important in such situations, how do you articulate something without offending people, right? Because you're all trying to make it better, right? So I saw a flaw wherein it was so acute, and obviously nobody was going to believe me because I'd just come in a couple of months. And I said, our objective is that this app on a particular server should support like 200, 300 users. My opinion was it won't support 3. Obviously, nobody was listening to me back then. I said, hey, maybe I just don't know enough. But we know there is a big load test coming up. And if it goes through and we're able to do that, I'm buying everybody lunch. I don't think so it will, but I'm saying I may be wrong, but I will buy everybody lunch. Yeah. Now, there is an inherent point here, right? What I'm saying is, if it goes through, I'm going to pay for lunch, right? But what I'm also saying is, I have some other ideas if that doesn't work out. Yeah. Now in that room full of people, yeah, everybody wanted the lunch. That's fine, and they said, yeah, we're going to have this. This Rahul is buying us lunch. This is happening, and is buying us lunch. And they did the test, and Lord behold, it didn't work. Right now, the eyes are back to the person who said there may be a problem, but more importantly, also said I have a solution, and that is the very important aspect. Just saying there are problems won't get you far. Having solutions as well is the mark of a true expert, right? So I had a solution which now I found consensus from the leadership to go behind. So there is a massive design change that required resource redirection, timeline adjustments. But the fact that the problem was acute enough, there was a solution that was workable, and I had built equity now via that action. A little bit risky, but I was very early in my career and more bold perhaps back then. But that really helped in kind of navigating and getting me relationship equity with the leadership in that customer.
Great thoughts, Rahulji. I'm going to very quickly switch gears, and Rajivji, I want to bring you in. I think we just spoke about peers, we spoke about bosses. Let's talk about teams, right? And I just want to put a twist to it, wherein I say, how do you, when in the world, right? And especially if you look at where you are in your industry, right? Where there is just generally the industry is under relentless pressure to deliver with accuracy, with speed. Uh, how do you stay people focused while managing the KPIs that are breathing down your neck? That is, managing expectations of, your job, but still keeping people first, especially with your teams. How do you do that?
Great question, Amolji, and good shift. Now, see, the key aspect of managing your team. First thing first, we all have, not all, I would say, people do make mistakes here, but you need to have your team right. What do you mean? What do I mean by have your team right? There are basic expectations. The team should have the right skill set for what you are working on, right? So I'm starting on the premise that your team has the best skill set, you have the right skill set. Still, then you will have a lot of times the deadlines would be so would be so weird that the teams will have to push, and that is where you need to pick your right people. So what I typically do, I will make sure that anything and everything which may cause a problem to the team from the core work, that's my job to solve it, or there are people who will solve it. If the core job of a developer is to code, there's nothing which should come in between him coding, not all the processes that you will have to attend this meeting. I will give them all the liberty and freedom to do their core work. Empower them. Let them, the second thing, which one, right people, right skill set, that is right match of the work. Second, I would empower them to take the decisions. I trust them, and the only thing I tell them is go ahead, take the decision. If something goes wrong, the only person who will question you would be me. Everyone else will question me. So that is the kind of trust I build. This helps my team a lot. And when you do something like this, the team will stand up for you. If there are times, and in our industry, there are sometimes times you have to put in the weekend, you have to put in late hours. If you back your team at tough times, they will stand up for you. This is what has worked for me, typically.
Let me add a point to that. And I think this is a question on the chat, I think, from Apurv that you perhaps Rajiv answered. One hard aspect is I will not do what goes against my core principles, right? Timelines aside. Yeah, so dharma is important. What my core principles are important. However tight the timeline or demand may be, in the long run, me violating my core principles just shakes my credibility as an individual, right? I may lose my composure and perhaps be angry sometime, but that doesn't mean by any means necessary I have to generate the outcome. If I feel the ask is unrealistic, it is absolutely going to decimate my team in the pursuit of that goal, then now it's my job to stand up for the team. Yeah, as harsh as it may be, yeah, there will be, please understand, there will be repercussions in some situations for us, but at the end of it, I have to live with myself, and I will not do something which is against my core principles. Yeah, so adding to what Rajiv was saying, Apurv, I hope that answers your question.
100% agreement, Rahulji. And if you do that, you back your team, because sometimes there will be asks which are like unrealistic. You cannot do it, and when you stand up for it, it's two-way. The team definitely supports you back.
I think it reminds me of something that Sayog Ji and I were speaking about, and he tells me, Amol, in today's world, you will never have all the resources every time to get things done. So I think it makes even more sense than what you described. Now, just doing a quick time check, we are at an hour mark, roughly past the halfway mark. It's been a very rich and engaging conversation so far, very, very reflective conversation of their careers. I want to now just take a moment, bring Sanyog ji in and talk about our mentorship program, especially knowing that we have almost half of our audience who joined us for the first time. Sanyog ji, why don't you tell us a little more about what's going on in our world?
Thank you, Amolji.
We can see your screen.
Okay, thanks a lot. Jai Janendra, everyone. I am Sanyog Jain, and along with Sushma ji and Amol ji, I'm also part of the core team of the JITO Professional Forum, the mentorship program. And I want to just take a few minutes to explain to you what is that we really do. But for us to, before we can understand the JPF and its work, it's important to understand who we are really part of. So we are part of JITO, and JITO is a very large multi-stakeholder community of visionary Jain industrialists, businessmen, and professionals who share a common commitment to shape the future of the community and society at large. JITO's footprint is all over the country and also internationally. It has got 9 zones in India, 73 chapters in India, 31 international locations, and over 18,000 paid members and counting. JITO has got many verticals or projects. Actually, there are 14 verticals, and JITO Professional Forum is one of the verticals. Now, our tagline is what we really do, is it is a place where experience meets curiosity. And when we say that experience meets curiosity, the first thing I would want to do is to share with you what the vision of the program is. Jain community is known for its business acumen. A lot of our community members have made a great name, and they have also brought a lot of laurels to the society, to the community. Now, not everybody is following the footsteps of in business. There are many people from our community who are working in organization. And our mission is to create avenues that will allow Jain professionals across sectors to network with industry leaders and aspirants, which will drive 1 lakh Jain professionals towards the path to success. Now, We have got a number of mentors over here. We've got Amolji is a mentor, Sushma ji is a mentor, Rajeev ji is a mentor, Rahul ji is a mentor. We have got 60 plus mentors, and I'll just quickly introduce you to them. But before that, the mission really is that if there is a Jain professional across the globe, he or she knows where to turn to when they are at crossroads or they want to level up. That is what our, I should say, long-term vision of the program is. Now, one of the great assets of this program is our mentors. We have more than 63 now, by last count, mentors, and each one of them, they work for global companies, very, very well-known companies. They are industry leaders. They are part of our community, but the most important thing is they want to give back to the community. They want to take out time on a Sunday like today and share their expertise with all of you. So here is, you may not be able to see uh, the names because they are, you can see the names, but not the industry, but it's okay. In the chat, we are going to paste a link to our coffee table book where you can see complete profile of each one of the mentors. So like Sai Gandhi, he wrote that, okay, how can I know more about one particular subject? He can look in the coffee table book, see who are the experts, and also arrange for a mentoring, one-on-one mentoring. Our mentors, they can mentor people in variety of different areas, from leadership to career planning, finance, legal, technology, career progression, procurement and supply chain, technology and AI, legal and policy, you just name it. I don't think there is any field which remains untouched. And even more importantly, if you look at key sectors where you can get mentoring, look at the list, financial services and fintech, consulting and management, technology and software, media communication and education, consumer goods, manufacturing and infrastructure, government, environment and policy, real estate, pharmaceutical, healthcare, sales and marketing. So I don't think there is really any field where you can't get mentoring from our mentors. And how can you really participate in the program? We do a number of activities. One of them is our Level Up series. These are expert-led sessions for professional growth. And each month we have a session. So far, we have run 16 such sessions. And by the way, the recording of each one of those sessions is there on our playlist. Our next session is scheduled for July 20th. And the topic is top career mistakes smart people make and how to avoid them. The speaker for that particular session is Mr. Rajneesh Jain. He is the CFO with Reliance Industries. By the way, we also have a WhatsApp community. We have a JPF corporate executive closed group, and you can, we'll post the link in the chat box, and you can click on that and you can join these groups. So we have group mentoring sessions like the one that we are holding right now. These are smaller group mentoring sessions, 15 to 20 people. You can ask questions, you can come on the mic. We have one-on-one mentorship, which we offer. Those are personalized guidance from mentors and community experts. We also have conclaves and events. Our mentors, when they travel to any particular zone, and if the local chapter thinks that there is a possibility of an interaction, they hold it. Recently, we had two interactions, one in Jaipur and the other one was in Jodhpur. Rutika Sawant, she is the program manager. She's based in Mumbai. Her phone number and her email is also there. And I've also shared my phone number and my email in case you need to ask any question, or the links that we send you. If any of the links is not working or not opening, you can always reach out to us and we will get back to you. These are the different ways in which you can join us. Once when I bring down my presentation, I'll post this on the chat box so you can utilize these links to join us. Now, this is really a team effort. No single person can pull this off. We have Kumar Palji. He is the JPF chairman. We have Manish Jain. Our guiding light is Mr. Vishal Jain. He's the MD of Accenture. And of course, there are, all of us are over here. Some of us are not present today, but they're busy in doing other things. So with that, I would like to, stop sharing so that you can get more questions in, Amolji. So over to you.
Thank you, Sanyog ji. And I will highly recommend to sign up for the next Level Up series. A lot of us have personally met, Rajneesh ji, who is the CFO of Reliance Communication. I think Reliance as a group. I think some of the group companies, extremely humble leader, uh, great clarity of thought. So just like our, featured mentors today, I can tell you, you're going to enjoy that conversation with Rajnish ji as well. On our next Level Up series on 20th of July. Did I say that right, Sayuti? 20th of July?
Yeah, July 20th,
Perfect.
10 o'clock.
As we were going through the registrations, I think there were some questions that came up on somebody looking for, and I don't know if they've joined the conversation today. Somebody wanted some insights on energy and chemicals, and then somebody wanted insights on the solar industry. We have mentors in that space too, who can help you with the conversation. Now I want to go back to now questions that have come up, and I think one which Sanyogji pointed out for Sai Gandhi. Saiji, I think your question, you can take a one-on-one mentoring session with both of our mentors today, and get a good idea. And they can, I think, they are very well positioned to guide you. And knowing their background, they've seen sort of have similar backgrounds. They have grown through the ranks, have been in one organization for a very long time. Uh, I think they can definitely help you with that. Uh, I want to just quickly call out a question that was put out by Apurv Jain. Apurvji, and I'm going to read this out. I think this question was answered, but I just want to invite Apurvji to just unmute yourself and ask if you might have a follow-up question, or if you want to just let us know if your question was answered or not. Apurvji, if you can unmute yourself. Okay. It looks like Apurvji is saying cannot unmute himself.
Okay, now they can.
Now they can. Okay. Apurvji, you can now unmute yourself.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for organizing this session. It was a really good one. And my question was answered, means Rahul and Rajiv both covered it in different aspects. I was able to take the notes of it. So thank you. No follow-up question as of now, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Apurvji, for that question. That was a good question, by the way. I have a question, maybe Rajiv ji, for you. Do you have like a daily ritual or something that you do on ongoing basis to help you stay grounded, be more, people centric, and just, in relations to the topic that we have today, which is getting along, precedes getting ahead. Uh, is there something that you practice more often that helps you?
See, one thing which in this context, uh, which I have started deliberately practicing is I would try in a week, I would not say daily, but I would try in a week to reach out to two people who I have no direct work with. I have worked with them earlier. I would just call up. I will tell what's going on in your project. Just chat up, and I will try to have a conversation, find out what's more is happening. This is initially when you do this, people always think, okay, now he will ask something. Now he'll ask for some work. But when you don't do it, that eventually builds a good relation, and they believe that, oh, okay, he's just checking, he's seeing if there's any help. This is generally I'm trying. I would not say I succeed every week, but I try to make sure that I talk to two different people every week. That's something which in this context is my daily ritual or a weekly ritual.
Awesome. Rahulji, anything that you practice more often that really helps you, uh, you know, staying ahead, staying more connected with the people?
Well, the one thing I always remind myself is like, is like people believe they are the smartest people in the room many a times. It's also can be like social media kind of self-supporting, because if you're incredibly successful, you may be the smartest person in that room. But I also like to believe that some rooms are smarter than others. So I remind myself every single time that I walk into a room that there are people in that room who have expertise which is far greater than mine, and is an opportunity for me to learn from them. Yeah. So I think by learning from our peers, there is no greater form of learning than learning from your peers or your colleagues within your the room. I try to call it like a setting that you are in for a day, a week, a month. So that's something I try to remind myself each time.
Thank you, Rahul Jain. We now want to open the floor up for an open mic or live question. If there's anybody who has a question that they would like to ask, I would request them to turn on the camera, and use the raise hand feature in Zoom to just say that you are interested in asking the question, and we will unmute, and you can we'll just call the name out and you can ask the question.
So there's just one question from Rajeev Ji on the chat.
We'll take that, Rahul. We'll just take a live question and then we'll go back to that question. I think that question is sort of answered also, but we'll go to Rajeev Ji. I think Rajeev, we have two Rajeev Ji on our session today, and I think the other person is from Australia, if I'm not wrong. But I'll let Shubham. Shubham Jain. Shubham Ji, please unmute yourself. You can be on the camera. That'll be great. And please go ahead and ask a question. Shubham Ji, are you having trouble unmuting yourself?
Hello, Sadhar Jai Jirendra, all of you.
Perfect. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. I am asking about how can I increase my sale?
Increase your what?
Sales.
Increase your sales. Okay.
In telecommunication media. In the field of telecommunication media.
Okay. I think your question is more, are you a business owner by any chance?
No, sir. I am doing internship in telecommunication media.
You're doing an internship in telecommunication and media.
Did he say increase your skills or sales?
Sales.
Sales.
Or did we get that right, Shubham Ji? Is it skills or sales?
Okay. I got it, sir. Okay.
No, go ahead.
No.
Sorry. We can answer your question. Let me answer the questions. Yeah. So let me just say the sales question, right? My boss, who did, and she was amazing, and she gave me great opportunities. She used to say, always be selling, which is a very odd thing to say when I was in a consulting business where I'm kind of solving something. But by the very nature, she would say that, right? And it took me a while to understand what the point was, right? But to Shomji, the key element is comes down to listening and listening between lines. And I'll give you an example, right? I joined a new team, and there was a person from the customer who would come to a call and say, when are you launching in this region? And then people would go take the action, go away, and come back and say, we don't have any plans to launch in that region, right? And that guy would go away. And then 3 months later, he would come again and say, when are you launching in this region? And the same thing would happen, right? So I had joined this new team, and the second time this gentleman came, I said, let me have a conversation with you, saying, why do you ask this question? What is it that you mean? And this is in Google context, Google Cloud concept. They're saying, when are you launching your products and services in this country? That was essentially his question, right? So I tried to understand what his perspective was. I tried to understand what the requirements he was trying to solve for. And I obviously gave him two options. One said, hey, for some of this, you don't necessarily need us to be in the region. You can use us and our services from somewhere else. But at the same time, what you're asking is for a wider presence of our products and services in that country, which may not be on the immediate roadmap, but your requirements are suited to something we call an edge product, which we do sell. That can be delivered to your country, or to the country you are thinking of. It is very limited in what it can do, but it completely meets what your requirements are. And that sparked a whole series of opportunities for me with that particular customer. So now the customer was not even phrasing the question correctly to me or to us. Right? He was saying, when are your all 100% services landing in this country? Which is not true even today and won't be true a year from now. But the fact was to hear, to understand, and to unravel what exactly is the ask, and find, having the knowledge and understanding and reading up on what your own company offers to match it goes away in making a sale, is what I would say. Rajeev ji, back to you.
No, I think perfectly covered, Rahul ji, on the sales part. I'll take the skills part if that was the question. So and as you mentioned, you're doing internship. Then the entire world is open. If you're at that point in your career where you're doing internship in telecom, there would be one thing to develop your skills. You would have senior in your organization with whom you should talk. You should ask for help. Tell, I want to learn. Is there and I believe a lot when you are doing internship, hands-on learning is the best. Tell if there is a small project where I can help on, where I can, shadow someone and learn. That could be one place where you can increase if that's the skill you want to develop in that area. And if there is any other skill which you want to develop, then identify why you want to learn that skill, and then find out ways and means. YouTube is completely open. If you find something where you want guidance on how to go on one particular skill, pick one of the mentors here, set up a one-to-one mentoring, take guidance, and that would also help you in improving your skill.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, all of you. I have got it my answer. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Thank you, Shubham ji.
And like Rajeev, if there is any other area of interest, and if you have a question which is very centric to, I think what we heard earlier, which is improving your sales, and you want to understand how that has been done. We also have some sales leaders as part of our mentorship, as part of our mentors cohort, whom you can reach out to. I now want to go back to a question that was posted in the chat, and it was from Rajiv Ji. And I'll request Rajiv Ji, if you're still around, to just unmute yourself and and let us know if we answered your question. I think the question was, how does one navigate building relationships with senior leaders, such as your manager's manager or even higher ups, while managing the perception that this might be seen as bypassing or undermining your direct manager? Very good question. I know we answered a part of it, but I think the second half of it is also an interesting thing that one can pick up. Rajiv ji, if you want to take the first shot at it.
Definitely, Amolji. See, the biggest, and it's not only your manager's manager, say the higher ups leader, the best way to build relationship is always look out for side projects other than your core work. Always there is in organizations there are always different initiatives which are running, and you need to be very very sure to pick initiatives which have the highest visibility. And there will be initiatives. And how do you get to know what is important to senior leaders? Typically in organizations, what happens is people don't attend the town halls, the leadership town hall, the emails which comes from the leader. Never miss those. You will understand what is most important to the leader. And so one way is, if you pick side projects, obviously it will take some of your time. You'll have to be more efficient with your time. And once you pick side projects, you will become visible. And then it is also beneficial to your manager that you have picked up a side project and you are doing something. This will help you in building relationship, because this is also help it will also help your manager, because the manager will also go and take credit, right? That, oh, my team is contributing there, whether you like it or not. This is how it happens. So this is the biggest takeaway. If you have to build relationship, you need to pick side projects other than your core work. This will solve both of your questions. The manager would not mind. Second thing, if side project is not the way, second thing is, whatever you're doing with your manager's manager, whatever work you are doing, always keep your immediate manager posted. It should not happen that he comes to know from his boss that this is what Rajiv is working on with me. Always keep him posted. That solves all. The only thing people want, the immediate manager wants, is I should know before my boss tells me. That will help you.
Rahulji?
Yeah, to add to that, right? Like to expand to it, right? Your immediate work is a little bit problematic in that context, and that's why Rajiv ji mentioned side projects, right? Because your immediate work is your immediate boss's priority, and you have to. It's very good if you start talking to your manager's manager. It is a little bit is definitely going to be problematic. Yeah? The opportunity arises from something Rajiv ji also alluded to. He said there are leadership communications. Leaders take care in crafting those. Those emails are not spur of the moment. They are perhaps weeks of work before they reach your inbox. Town halls. There's a great amount of preparation that goes into what is being explained on the town hall, what is being spoken at a town hall. Now, if you are talking to your manager's manager who is leading the town hall, you're not bypassing a manager. It's a town hall. It's supposed to be one to many, and you can use that opportunity to probe on what the strategy is, offer to support a strategy. Yeah. But please be aware, don't ask a question for asking a question. Yeah, that's a trap you have to get out of, because I always say these are double-edged swords. They cut both ways. You can make a good as well as a really bad impression. So you don't have to ask a question just because you want to build a relationship. If it falls in your sweet spot, knock it out of the park. It is a test match, not a T20. You don't have to hit every ball for a six. The career is that way, right? You take your opportunity if it presents itself. It should show you in the right light, and intention is pure. You're saying, I love the strategy that you have. I have something to offer towards that strategy, and I'm willing to contribute towards it. So if you have that, that's a way to step around what you are putting on the question.
Thank you both for answering my question very well. I just have one follow-up question. So far, the organizations I've worked with have always been open to, the so-called skip level meeting or encouraging people to talk to their senior leaders. But how do you address a situation where your manager is very secure, right? And when he sees that you are reaching out to people who are senior than him or from other teams senior leaders. You don't have any ill intention or anything, against him or her, but the perception, that they have of you is God knows why he's talking to other people. I'm doing my job to the best of my ability that is required as a function of my role. But at the same time, if the person is the hiring or if the manager is, very insecure, then that's where the relationship currency bit that you mentioned, building relationship with others, is a bit tricky part. That's where I need some guidance. Thank you so much.
Rajeev?
See, on this one, I would say if you feel that the manager is insecure about you and you say that's what his perception is, could be the other way also. I'm just expanding it. You feel it that way, that the manager feels this way. The only solution to this is he's your manager, have a one-to-one chat, talk to him about your goals. See, your intention is not to just build relationship. Your intention is to grow, right? Typically, the intention is to grow. And you talk to him that I think this is how it can happen. This is what I'm looking at. Are you okay with it? And if he's not okay with it, he will have to tell it. He will have to say that I'm not okay. And this is why I'm not okay. I think, and I'm making an assumption that you have not had this discussion. So this is where I would say you need to have a real open, honest communication discussion with your manager, explain him what you are looking for, and he might have other way. He might say, okay, you pick up this project. And also last point is the manager, one of the goal of the team members typically is you make your manager successful, you become successful. This is how it happens. Everyone is trying to make someone successful, and eventually the organization becomes successful and everyone becomes successful. So this is how your discussion should go and happen with your manager if this is the case.
Awesome. I think I had two very interesting questions that I wanted to really ask, but I think we are at the close of our time. I will request Sanyog ji to come back again, and I think this was a very engaging, I think very intriguing conversation. I think if I wouldn't be moderating it today, I would definitely be in the audience for this conversation. It is a thing that always, I would say, I shouldn't say troubles me, but it always crosses my mind. How do you engage with your peers, with your manager, right, in spite of being around for so long? So, Sanyog ji, I want to invite you for a vote of thanks. And Sanyog ji, Sushma ji, both of you, please go ahead.
Sushma ji, would you actually Vishal ji is over here, is on the call.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Vishal ji, if you could please just step in, it will be really great. People will have a chance to also listen to you.
that will be great. Vishal ji, I didn't notice that you're on, but if you can,
I have the advantage, I'm not speaking, so I can see I've got a much wider vision.
Vishal ji, if you can unmute yourself and just share your thoughts on today's session and also for the vote of thanks, please.
So in the meantime, I would just say, I always associated myself to be a teacher. My father was also a teacher. So what's the biggest thank you that you can really give to a teacher? We've got, nearly quite a few people in the group. Why don't, instead of one person giving their vote of thanks, why don't we write what did we learn? Why don't everybody write what did they learn from the two teachers that we have today?
I think that's a great way to express our gratitude towards the mentors. I'm not gonna write it, but I'm gonna say it here: finding common ground, being humble, learning. Those are my three big takeaways today. I think Vishal ji maybe.
Yeah. Okay, then maybe Sushma ji, can you please, Sushma ji?
Yeah. So really, it's been wonderful. Needless to say that, I mean, just reiterating things. And this whole concept of, getting along precedes getting ahead, I think is something which very often we don't focus on, especially when we're new in an organization, we're looking at things. We are so focused on, okay, what does my boss say? And I need to perform and, just do that. And I think a lot of us, and I see this even in corporates today, we have what I call a boss focus, उनका सिर यूं ही हिलता है ऊपर नीचे. Huh? So, and we forget actually we need 360-degree relationships. 360-degree, not only with your bosses, superiors, they need to be visible, but your colleagues and also the people who are the support functions and other departments. So it is so important for all of us to learn these skills. And one of the things is every interaction is either a deposit or a withdrawal. How can we keep a fantastic balance, as Rajeev Jain ji has said, every interaction? Can I give, and give without expecting in return? The value of that interaction and the deposit increases multifold. When we know it's a you scratch my back, I scratch your back, I think the values go down. So it has to come from an intention and it has to be part of our personality. It's not something that you do only for this, because then it becomes fake and it really loses its value. So I think all these little tips, if we just go and implement at least one or two, I think we are all well on our journey towards getting ahead because we are getting along. And I think that's the key out here. So fantastic session, lots of points for each one of us to take away, and looking forward to many more like this. Thank you so much, Rahul ji. Thank you so much, Rajeev ji. Wonderful to interact with you, and look forward to your continued support and learning and sharing of experiences. Thanks so much. Thanks, Amol, for a fantastic moderation. And of course, Sayok, for putting all this effort to getting and letting people know that this is happening and making sure that people attend and take advantage of it. Okay, do spread the word. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
Over to
you.
you, Amol. Over to you, Amol.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajeev ji. Thank you, Rahul ji, and more importantly, our audience for today for joining us on a Sunday afternoon. I know Sundays are over for our families, but you made a choice of being with us, being part of this learning community. So I would like a heartful thank you to our audience as well. Uh, we unfortunately have run out of time. Even 1.5 hour wasn't enough for us. There were so many things that we could have spoken about, but I hope everybody had a takeaway from this. So thank you, everyone. Jai Janendra, and we'll see you soon on our next Level Up series. Take care.
And Vishalji is here.
Oh,
Oh,
Vishal.
sorry, I was the last one to come in, but I just want to say thank you, Rahul. Great to see you. I could join in between. Then I had a call in between. And Rajiv, thank you to both of you and to the entire team. Looking forward to the next one. Thanks a lot.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vishalji.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll be closing the session.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys.